Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchorbaby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchorbaby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby.
You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room.
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border, and then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on America's soil. So he became the anchor baby. They don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchorbaby, and this is my show. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to get started here. A lot to talk about, honestly. So much going on, but yet it's all the same. It's very interesting. Quite a paradox, and few can offer much insight when we're seeing violent scenes. We're seeing people die in America now. What was political action? What was political people in the streets with pickets? We've seen we're seeing all sorts of stuff, and we're not really seeing any like I said, insight and to offer real understanding. Manifestos coming out, school shooters, and it's political points all around, but no real understanding. So I want to get into some of that. And your calls and a whole bunch of things here. I mean, the world's gone crazy. Look at all the things we got to talk about. It's thrilling, huh? We had some thrills yesterday talking about war, and death, and... I'm just joking. We had some fun yesterday, Joe. If you missed it, I had a guest. It was great. He was from Israel, Tomer. We had a cool little show yesterday, so definitely podcast yesterday's show, American Anchorbaby, on Substack.com. So that's AmericanAnchorbaby.substack.com. Right? Yes. Podcast is on Spotify. Check me out on Rumble, rumble.com/American Anchorbaby, DLive.tv/Gorgonzola. Hola. I see y'all over there. What's up? Thank you, Wrinkle Hands Bing Bong. What's up? Ohio Sentinel and all the people here. Dual Citizen Baby. What's up, Kevin Howe? This is your host, your American Anchorbaby. Based Israel guy, but Jesus is the Messiah. Yep. Let Jesus work his way into the Jewish man's heart. He called all the Christian stories not kosher. I found that funny. I mean, there's things that are foreign to me, but I don't know. It's like it's bad in his stomach. Yes, telling the truth, but it was great. Thank you, everybody here on YouTube. So we got manifestos. We got manifestos, and we got fraud trials. At least some people call it that. And I don't know what I know what I want to say today, but I don't know how I'm going to say it. So you're in for the ride. You're in for the ride. And some of you have been following this case with Trump. I call it a fraud trial. Did I tell you the number? 888-775-3773. Maybe you have some insight, huh? Maybe we could try and arrive to something together. Or you just want to yell at me. 888-775-3773. I want to yell about Letitia James. Well, you know her as the Attorney General in New York. And Trump has been going through a civil fraud trial, one of a few that he's facing, embroiled in. Very fair stuff. And I know it's the talk is, well, it's not fair, it is fair, it's not fair, it is fair. And you get into legal talk and jargon. And I think the common man gets a little lost. And so they just stick to, well, my team says it's it's a fraud. But the type of person, I actually put a little bit more stock in this internal discernment that you can develop. And I'm not saying I got it, but if it's a total mystery to you, I kind of want to impart at least some kind of tools in making your way through here. Because I think you can discern, even without knowing a lot of information. Okay? You don't have to just go like a robot. And they say Lady Justice is blind. Right? A blind lady with scales. Am I just a silly, simple person, folks? Some lawyer call in and bring some actual insight here. But sometimes simplicity makes sense, huh? But am I too simple for this one right here, folks? There's this civil fraud trial that Trump is going through. $250 million case. And what happened was back in September, Trump had the the judges, along with under the direction of Attorney General Letitia James, you know her, described as the portly, waddling woman. He didn't say waddling by Hake. I'd call it maybe waddling, the way he painted that picture. Donald Trump was accused of committing fraud. The judge ruled Trump committed fraud by inflating his assets. Effectively said that the heart of the case against the former the case against the former president would not be subject to debate. So the civil case was brought up against him. And there's a trial, okay? And Trump appeared in this trial yesterday. Spoke at this trial under Judge Arthur Engoron, presiding over the trial. No jury, which Trump is asking for. Saying this is a show trial. You know, these headlines coming out with his comments on it's all bombastic, right? He made an appearance. He was there at the witness stand, him and his sons, his family. And so, let me get to this video here. Because maybe you're simple like me. Which is funny, I'm sometimes complicated. That's the joke. Okay, so check this out. I saw this video. It's Letitia James, and she's in front of a camera. And she's telling the world about this case. Let me pull it up. Where are you, you clip? I need you. Check it out. From Letitia James, we've just conducted day 22 of our trial against Donald Trump, the Trump Organization, and other defendants. She puts this out. It's all over Twitter. It's all on the internet. She's in front of this camera describing the trial here. And I want to just paint a simple picture here for you. Let me show you. Let's watch this video here for describing what's going on. Letitia James, New York Attorney General. Come on, honey, speak. How does this work? Computer. Do I not know how to use this? I don't know how to use this, folks. Hold on.
And Eric Trump. As a trustee of the Donald J. Trump.
Well, it's a kind of contingent on this clip here. Dang. Folks, I'm sorry. I just usually, this works a certain way, and it's not letting me send you any of the audio. And it's kind of the worst moment right now. We got everybody tied up with fallen state stuff. I'm by my lonesome. well, whatever. So I guess I can show you the clip. Listen, she basically says that these people are guilty in this clip. That's the point. She's saying the family's guilty, calling them fraudulent. And it's in the middle of a trial. You see, there are no rules. It doesn't matter. There are no rules. Okay, and they're not even pretending. They're not even pretending. Let me just get rid of this here. They're not even pretending that it's a trial. It doesn't even matter to them. Dang, what an anticlimactic. But okay, listen. The family, they call him fraudulent, okay? And you gotta put this in perspective. Trump got a gag order on him. And in fact, he violated it recently and got fined for speaking about the very same details this woman's talking about in this video. And he's saying he's going to speak about it anyways. It's not a problem to him. But not everybody has that kind of capital. Not everybody has that kind of ability, right? So he's leading the way in that. But that's how these things go. It's a battle of attrition. It's a battle of keeping you down. You see, he's got a war on multiple fronts right now on things that amount to civil cases of tax stuff, his property valuations. He took some documents, but it's like, wait, where's the smoking gun? He's a treasonous person. Okay, well, it always invariably goes back to January 6th, which when you get into the details, now that it's been thrown in America's faces for days and for months, years, now when you get down to it, you get into the details, it doesn't quite amount to what people say. You get the comparisons, Black Lives Matter, all these other riots. It's like the world's gone crazy. And it's starting to feel like the people aren't quite going with the okie doke, okay? And what it is, I think, it's not that they're necessarily they're getting based. They're waking up, they're getting based. It's more like there is a general sense that we don't really, these people talking about the shooting, talking about the Jewish man that got killed at this protest by Palestinian protesters or whatever. There was this Jewish guy who stabbed some Palestinian child. No, didn't that happen recently too? The shooters, the manifestos, there's no real answer to all of it. But there is a unifying thing here. There's a unifying answer here, a string that ties it all together. And you get lost calling it, look at these Jews, they're stabbing Palestine. Look at this, we got Muslim invasion, truly an invasion. They're out here killing Jews in the streets because they support Hamas. Wait, then the narrative kind of falls apart. Because they support Hamas. Because Audrey was a transgender. Audrey Hale was a transgender. And a transgender is a psycho, and she hates crackers. She hates crackers. And that's why this person took a gun, multiple firearms, I believe, premeditated going to a school to kill children. The narrative falls apart a little bit. Just because you saw a YouTube video and you saw a thing that says about crackers, and you saw Ibrahim X. Kendi, okay, and the tweets about white people, and that's what did it. And that's why she killed him. Wait, there's kind of a big missing gray area there. You feel me, folks? So this speaks a little bit to that no care to reality here. Because the government, enemies of Trump, etc., are pretty much aware that the folks are demoralized, ill-informed, and fearful. Fearful keeps you closed in, all nebulous, disconnected. You're afraid to make certain connections and statements out of fear. So, it speaks to all that because they know that, okay? You just pump out information into the news. Just pump it out. Videos of Letitia James, these people are guilty. This is very official. This is very official, and you should listen to me because I'm making an official statement to the people. look at this criminal. I'm saying that officially. People just ill-informed, demoralized, degenerated in the mind. Okay. So it speaks to all that, really. And how people don't have an answer. I mean, all this Nashville stuff now. Here's what I want to say. Nashville, all this. On this notion that, in my opinion, there's a general kind of, I'm going to give you an example, in fact. I'm going to demonstrate it maybe a little bit here. On this general vibe or spirit I'm getting that people are not so much going along with the okie doke, in that they're just not confident that the prescription that it's hate. No, love is love, and it's just bigotry. Even further, it's white supremacy. They're not even going along with that kind of stuff. They're seeing videos, all this stuff on Twitter. It's really happening on Twitter, to be honest with you, x.com. And I think it's really has an effect on a consciousness at large in other media spaces. And what I'm talking about specifically is people are seeing videos, for example, of people saying it's the Holocaust, Israel, da-da-da. And it's like, everybody's like, nah, whatever. Like, and I think it's out of just a sort of fatigue, not out of a genuine anti-Semitic. They call it anti-Semitism, right? You disagree. Like, there's levels, right? There's people on Twitter calling for death. Obviously, violence is, we're about love here. We're about love. That's 100%, folks. You know this. We're about love. We're not about violence. Not like that. But they're out here, and it's like, it's the comments is just full disagree. When I think in any other climate, it would have been, I mean, these people got attacked. Hamas attacked them pretty hard. Retaliation, etc. It wouldn't even be thought of, I think, in a different climate. But what I'm trying to describe here is that people have this fatigue. And this fatigue, I think, is showing a few places. You see things like this. You'll see, let me show you to make this fatigue point I'm trying to make. They'll show this guy. For example, they'll put this guy on some. He's wearing he's basically supposed to be like what's it called, concentration camp person here, wearing the clothes, wearing the thing. Not a survivor of it. He's saying in this clip, if you hear it, if I could play the audio here, he's saying it was family of his who was killed by the Germans. Right, horrible stuff. But you see in the comments, the point I'm trying to make is everyone's like fatigued, okay? They're fatigued. And the general prescription here is, well, it's Jewish hatred, anti-Semitism, it's the return of Nazis. This is why this is happening. They'll point to Audrey Hale. It's transgenderism. It's because she's a Biden supporter or something crazy, because this person was like into My Little Pony and Tumblr, or they'll say this person because of drugs, psychiatric drugs, because this person mentally ill. They'll even say they need prayer. And at least that's a little bit closer, huh? But people don't even understand what that is. So Christians, shut up. You know what I mean? Figure that out first. But hey, we need that more than ever. But even that doesn't make sense. They're fatigued at that as well. I think, in my opinion, aren't the people are kind of fatigued? That doesn't quite explain it. So I'm describing this general kind of fatigue to these things because I think we all know that Audrey Hale didn't go out there because this person read Marx and got into cultural Marxism and Leninism. This person had problems. Mental illness. No, this person hated their parents. This person talked about this. The news. They got the clips. Oh, the news. You gotta love the media. The media hiding the whole thing about it being anti-white cracker and all that, because it's not a good narrative. Okay, whites. No. They're the oppressors. No. You can't do it like that. And so that's the media. We can talk about the media in a second here. Sick media. But all the media pundits, the talking heads, they're like, this Audrey Hill had a clip here somewhere, but you can't even hear it anyways. She was her parents were religious. They were anti-homosexual or whatever, and they were anti-pronouns. They wouldn't let her use her pronouns. Gosh, how blind. More to it that we need a real answer, okay? And so they have all their explanations, right? And what was I saying here? It's like people are fatigued, in my opinion. I don't think it's quite hidden, okay? Most people don't really think about. I mean, you know what I'm trying to describe. It's an emptiness in talking about these things. Even myself, trying to discover things myself. We're trying to bring some insight here because we know a little bit about the insanity of the mind and how it really isn't unique. That is such an important stipulation. In the insanity of the mind, its source being the devil, its source being Satan, that it really isn't unique, and that what Audrey Hill went through, but is a not a unique thing. It's happening to everybody, and that's an essential part, essential in unraveling these. What do you call them? What do octopus have? Friggin' arms just wrapped all over deeply woven in these roots of anger and division, deeply woven in the families of America, okay? You got the essential part here is understanding it in your own head, right? How can you really bring the answer to anyone? What I'm trying to describe here is that God in this situation is kind of radical. Because Israel didn't do Audrey Hill. You see what I'm saying here? Like, we got to talk about policy and all that. Look, that's great. People got to do that. But policies are just representations of like love sometimes. Like you can imagine like a pro-policy tax that's pro-tax whatever will encourage families and children. That's like built out of that comes from someone with love sometimes. Am I making sense here, folks? Like that's the order of operations. Love, heart, policies for the people. You feel me? Bed mass. The bed mass of the heart. What do you call it in America? In Canada, they called it bed mass. Brackets, exponents, divisions, multiplications. Okay. Look. It's the order of operations, folks. And like I said, the essential part here, understanding yourself here, because we need a radical thing. It's radical, and it's radical to not believe your thoughts. It's radical to love your enemies. It's radical to, to say anger is evil, and it's radical to love your parents, honor them, and understand them. Because Audrey Hill didn't, and I think, if I've made any sense here, there's a connection to it all. Okay? I'm going to get to calls here. 888-775-3773. What are y'all saying? Tentacles. Yes, they're called tentacles, folks. Okay, thank you. Jeez. I'm reading chat here a little bit. I see your calls coming in. Thank you for the patience. Very cool. I got all these chats to check. Hey, what's up, old saucy? D live. So that's what's going on. And we got some stuff to get into here too. They had an outpouring for trans people in Nashville. If you ever did follow this a little bit. Because they face backlash. And so they put out all these headlines. They had to meet in meet in secret. And this amazing Tennessean article here. It's so strange the way they wrote this. It's like all coded, and they bury deep, deep inside that what they mean by unity in this headline. Founded among differences, Covenant Presbyterian and its school, now a focus of unity. Buried deep in coded languages that they basically invited a bunch of trans people to give them a lesson, give people a lesson about hate. And this is what I'm talking about. Nobody understands hate like that. Well, that it's anger, first of all. And you just know it. This isn't coming from a higher, in the clouds. It's just that I'm trying to show you too. This is not coming from like, oh, I'm on the clouds and I know about anger, but I'm trying to give you tools to discern markers of people who definitely are not caring about the right thing. Anyone who's saying that it's guns, that it's because it was the pronouns, because it's that's what I'm trying to show you, folks. It should be clear. That should be clear that those people are pushing the opposite thing: the ego, the identity, the thoughts, the lie. Okay. Donning Armor. I got calls. Let's rock calls. Donning Armor. You are on the air. Appreciate your call. I believe from California.
You're gosh darn right. I'm on the air.
What's up, sir? I haven't heard from you in a moment here. The world's gone even worse. How you been?
The world's gotten better.
Okay.
I saw that you
True. Yeah, here I am calling it worse. What the heck do I know? Here I am giving it a judgment. Well said, Donning Armor.
I'm here to explain and to help guide you through the process.
I was the foolish one for even giving it that kind of judgment, right? Have no judgment on it. You're making a lot of sense.
Don't throw your Christian shade at me.
You're too equipped in the mind to get past on that one.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, go ahead. So, how you been, Donning Armor? Calling the show. You said you want to comment on. You're saying the world is good. Please explain to us.
Man, well, it's good for me, and it's good for the Western people. So I'm happy. I'm like, taking a blanket is probably the wrong expression. A pagan-ish, if you know what I mean. I'm happy. This is great. You had an oppressor, a Jewish oppressor on your show. Am I
oppressor? What makes you call my guest that? What makes you call him that?
Well, he's supporting Israel, right?
Well, he was born there. Yeah, he supports his country.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with it, but they oppress ours, don't they?
They oppress ours. I just don't know that. I can't say they do. What do you mean by oppress?
Show me so
influence. What's that?
Okay.
I've been seeing that there's this strange connection with some American conservative politicians where they have misinterpreted the Bible, in my opinion, and have this almost zealot thing about it. And then you can point out people that are not America first, and I understand that whole argument. But oppress, you got to explain that one for me. How's it? I'm willing to engage on this. What do you mean? What do you mean Israel oppress? In which way?
Okay. Well, you're on YouTube, correct?
Correct.
And YouTube is the head of YouTube is a Jew, is it not?
I think so. I don't know actually. I may have known that at one point. Can't recall.
Yes, it's
Go ahead though.
It's a Jewish woman.
Okay.
So,
okay.
And you're afraid of getting strikes for saying the wrong things, correct?
I call it I play by the rules. Hey, you're in someone else's house, okay? I get something out of YouTube?
I understand that you get something out of YouTube, but playing by the rules is you not being allowed to speak your mind? Those sound like some gnarly rules, bro. I'm not really into it.
Hey, them's the rules. I was kind of born into it. That I was kind of brought into this, right?
Okay.
I speak freely about that though, and as much as I thank YouTube for allowing me to reach a wider audience, and I'll play by the rules, at the same time, we can also say it's evil to have this very selective censorship. I know what you mean. But, there's certain words, and you too, because you too will play by the rules because you're calling my show, and you understand this very same strategy I'm talking about, because you too wouldn't say the same things.
Yeah, well, I have to, just like you have to, and I don't want to get your.
But I don't want to get bogged down here. I'm following you. So there's a Jew running YouTube, and we can't say certain things. Okay, so tell me how that's the oppression. I want you to describe the oppression, I guess, and where in that relationship the oppression is.
Isn't it obvious? I don't understand the question.
That might be a strange question, but what is it? Is it that this, I forget her name, she's oppressing you? She's oppressing you?
Of course. She
How?
oppresses you as well.
How?
And they oppress all of us, not just the CEO of YouTube, but Jews in general. How do they oppress us? They oppress us in many ways. If you look at the ADL, they oppress freedom of speech. They demand that we acknowledge them as, victims.
Gotcha. So when the ADL puts out a report, when the leader or the owner of YouTube says you can't say words because anti-Semitism or whatever reason, when they put out those reports, what happens next? Like, what's the next step after that? And then walk me to the step where you are oppressed and you can't say things.
Well, you know exactly where.
I guess this might be silly. This might be a silly line of questioning. I'll get to what I'm trying to say here. I mean, look, I don't think whatever you say, you can never change the ultimate, just bedrock truth that 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎, whatever her name is, YouTube, Israel, or whatever other person isn't oppressing your particular speech, right? Like, you can still say stuff. Yeah, there might be even consequences, and that might be a messed up thing on its own, right? To be jailed for speech and all that. But that still doesn't change that bedrock truth that another person can't take away your speech. You see what I'm saying here? And if the people who take your speech,
no, you're wrong. They can take away your speech.
You can't change that. That's just not true. They may jail you. They may do anything, but you can't change that bedrock truth.
Find me Jared Taylor, Way of the World, or other YouTubers. Find me where they are, because they're gone. They've been wiped clean from existence as far as we're concerned.
This is like
they can take away your money. They can take away your voice.
Honestly, this is like maybe a nitpicky point, because I'm not denying that. Look, I'm just trying to say that at the end of the day, someone can't take away your speech, right? You can still speak. But yeah, if you get consequences for said freedom, then it's coming from, well, who's the one who has that power to do that to you? I'm following you, man. Like, look, but you don't see that. You don't see that. You don't see that when you give up that final. If you give up that final line in the sand, there's no way back. You don't see that when you give up that final line in the sand internally, that another person can take away your speech. You give up that final line in the sand, there's no coming back. You can't fight your way back. You see what I'm saying here?
Sir, they have the power to destroy people's lives, and they do it all the time. You had an oppressor on your show, a Jew.
See, this is why. See, that's messed up, man. You can't just. You didn't even listen to the interview. Then, is what you're telling me. You just saw Jew. You just saw Jew. You saw 5 minutes. You saw Israel, Jew. Okay, oppressor. Because you didn't. If you actually heard the whole thing, you wouldn't be saying what you're saying.
Well, let me finish. And I listened to a good amount of it, and then I became violently ill from all of the nonsense that he was spewing, and I had to step away for a moment. But the fact of the matter is that they can take away your speech, they can take away your money, they can leave you in ruins, leave you on the side of the road, and they do this all the time. We know about it. How many
and you
times
let them, and you're okay with it. You're okay with going. You're okay with them. You're okay with giving them even the most precious thing. There was when they took away the speech, when they called it anti-Semitism, when they did all that, and you were like, man, that sucks, and you were just seething away. But now you're even willing to give them the most precious thing, your actual free speech. Yes. They can jail you. Yes, they can do all these things, but you're willing to give away that final line in the sand. Does any of that make sense to you?
This is just completely falsifying reality. I'm the one that's sitting here talking against it, right? So I'm still speaking. Now, I don't have a show. I know that if I were to come out and say what I really believe, it would probably cause trouble for you. How many strikes has Hake had, for instance?
A few. And they were about like climate change. It's crazy.
Actually, out of curiosity.
But I think canceling is out of vogue. There's a big change. There's a big changing tide. I don't know if you've even noticed it. This is another reason why you got to just have a wait and see attitude. There's also it's like someone on the sorry for this tangent, but it's going to be good. So someone on the Hake report talk about Ted Kaczynski, and he's such a great example of this. If you read his manifesto, this guy was sure that things were going to go a certain way, but life is not as linear as you think. And he killed himself before the things the way technology turned out. It turns out technology didn't turn out how he thought it was. And the same with this, look, canceling and all this, there's a changing tide. And I'm not denying things you're saying here, but have you noticed that? There's kind of a canceling is kind of not cool. And that's kind of cool. That's kind of an interesting thing.
Yeah, people are waking up, but I don't want to go down the Ted Kaczynski road. I just want to say that where's that canceling coming from? It comes from the people that your last guest relates to and identifies as, right?
I don't know. I'm still not convinced on that one, to be honest. I just don't know about that one. I'm not convinced if it's just... I know people point to the ADL. I get it. And the ADL, basically, recently we saw them really close with social media, just talking to the heads of everybody, telling them what you can and can't say. But that's not the only source, is it? Am I being ignorant here? Like, that's not the only source. And that still doesn't change the bedrock of...
Is it not oppression to be told what you can and can't say? Is that not oppression?
Yeah, I guess we see oppression differently, man. I don't know. I just think... I don't know.
What do you mean? You want me to, like, hold you down on the ground or something physically? I mean, that's weird. Of course it's oppression to be told.
Yeah, it might be a form of oppression if we're using words here. I mean, I'm being a little too spiritual. I'm being a little too brand new here. Yeah, I mean, that's a little... but you see what I'm saying here, though? You're being obtuse to the point I'm making here. It's like, you got... That internal part, you can't ever accept that word inside in your heart. You could use it to communicate, but inside you can't accept oppressed. You can't accept that. You're giving up the final line in the sand, bro. But that's kind of my thing.
What did you call me?
Bro.
Did you call me obtuse?
Yes. Oh, I thought you meant bro. Yeah, you're being obtuse.
I'll lock you down with the sodomites.
What the... Okay, Donnie Armour.
What? That's a reference.
Are you saying you're gonna put me in? Are you saying you're gonna put me in a jail with a bunch of homosexuals?
It's a reference to a movie. I was just joking. I'm not going to do that.
Don't lock me in the. Don't lock me in the dungeons.
You've never seen Shawshank Redemption?
I have seen Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, well, that's when he finds out that there's proof that he's innocent, and the warden says, "I'll cast you down with the sodomites," and he says something else that I won't repeat because it's a little too graphic.
That one's escaping me. I was making a joke though about when the ethno-nationalists take over. Don't put me in the dungeons with the gay people. Don't do it. Okay, Donnie Armour. But listen, on ethno-nationalism a little bit here. You know, you've called the show before, and some people know. I mean, are you still kind of, I'm not trying to dox you or pigeonhole you here, but you see an identity with your fellow whites and you would like a state with the white people. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. In-group preference, everybody should have it.
And that makes a lot of sense to me, man. Yo, do you see because it sounds like you said, oh, Israel, you called my guest an oppressor. Kind of rude thing to say about my guest, but okay. You called him an oppressor and all that, but wait a second. Don't you want to get rid of a violent and annoying minority yourself? And I don't even, you know what I'm saying here? Like, I'm not saying I understand the sentiment here, but
I don't want to.
I don't know if people see that connection.
What do you mean by get rid of them?
You know, just have your own place, not do anything evil or violent to them.
Okay, yeah. I want my own place with my own people and group preference. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just easy to call people oppressors, you know. That's all I'm trying to point out.
Oh, no, well, they are oppressors.
Because you could throw words around, you know.
No, I'm not throwing words around. They can delete your life. They can cancel your bank account. They can take away your speech. You will not have a platform. You will not have anything. You will be on the street.
That's
they
wrong.
Can do that. I know it's wrong, but they have the ability, and they do it all the time.
That's totally wrong.
So,
can you not see that's wrong also to allow it? Because I've said that it's wrong.
Of course I can see that it's wrong to allow it. I'm not trying to do it to them. They're trying to do it to me.
That's really the only point I'm making here. Man, thank you, Donnie Armour. We kind of brought maybe a little bit to the topic here, huh? Both sides? Well, thank you, man. Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, just really quick. I think that it's a glorious time to be alive as a white person, a Western person, because right now they're fighting each other. And I'm talking about the Muslims, which I don't care about either. I wish them all well, but I just wish that they would leave us alone. And I wish that Western countries would defend their borders the same way that Israel defends its borders.
Can't disagree with that. I've been saying, in fact, I've just been saying lately, whatever, it's stupid, but I mean this, though. I've been saying, white people are in the world, okay, in America and Europe, you got to get it together. Expel all these people who hate you. Fix the border thing and get it. And I don't even care about sovereignty in the Middle East at this point. Get in there and establish order. Get it together because these Semites have gone nuts. Man, Donnie Armour, thank you for your call.
Thank you.
Call me again. Nice. Thank you, Kohlberger Art, for that super chat. Says Donnie Armour. Oh, dang. Go get a hobby. Stop blaming others for your own fear. Beta baby. Donnie Armour. That's not even mean. That just makes sense, right? You can't blame others. That's love. That's a good thing to say. And I got, thank you over there supporting me on Rumble. Rumble.com/American Anchorbaby. We got calls. The calls they're going 888-775-3773. I say we keep it going. We got CJ, Texas. You're on the air. Thank you for your call.
Hey, what's up, man? Can you hear me okay?
Hearing you just, are you on speaker though? You might sound a little funny.
No, I'm on
You're loud and clear though, I think. Go ahead.
All right. So, yeah, I wanted to talk about, well, first of all, shout out to Donnie Armour, man. That was a great call just now. And I really miss his content that he would provide to the Hate Report. I wish you'd come back and talk a little bit more. And rest in peace to Teddy, the K-Man.
Kaczynski?
And, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you want to. I wanted to talk
Did you see that Ted was blind? Did you ever read any of his stuff?
I'm not sure what you mean by he was blind.
Yeah, but after reading any of this Unabomber Manifesto stuff, did you ever arrive to did you arrive to the conclusion that Ted was blind ultimately?
He was a serial killer, dude.
Right. I mean, that's fair.
All right.
It's just people point to the manifesto and Ted, and they speak of it in a kind of glorification way, like he was crazy, but he was kind of right. But actually, he's actually angry.
I mean, there's monsters.
Pretty crazy.
But Ted Kaczynski genuinely thought he was doing well for people and the world. He was wrong, right? But I don't think he was evil.
Oh, sorry, you said he was wrong, but you don't think he was evil.
Yeah.
And why do you say that?
I just don't think he was. I don't think he was really evil. I don't think he was like obtaining pleasure out of people's pain and stuff like that, like Bundy and stuff was doing. He wasn't. He was genuinely misguidedly attacking a system that he thought was hurting people.
Okay, and so how did he become misguided?
He probably just had like some OCD or something, man. He probably grabbed onto a thread and couldn't let go of it.
Oh, it was just OCD, huh? It was just OCD, and he just.
I don't know.
OCD, and he just
OCD.
He just tripped.
It's probably something like OCD. He probably got an idea in his head, and
this is what I mean about the shallowness, and this is not an insult, but this is what I mean about the shallowness in these stories, the manifestos, the shooters, Israel. We arrived to here, and it's like, well, he's at OCD, but that's just not good enough, okay? Because this is what I mean. People arrive to these conclusions. It's like, well, no, he wasn't evil. He was just mistaken. But you only become misguided like that.
You keep throwing in the word just. I didn't use the word he just has OCD. I said something like OCD.
Right.
Like a criminal level of OCD.
Totally. No, I totally understand what you're saying. It's just this, right, mental illness, and they say these things, but Ted hated the world. Ted was angry. Ted hated the world, and he thought he was like you said, he thought he was God, bringing about good things in the world. That was his ego. And honestly, anyways, you see what I'm saying? It's like a shallow understanding of things. The one that we all have. You see what I'm saying here, CJ? Kind of like that we all have a shallow understanding.
About is shallow understanding of things.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Well, anyways, go ahead.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know if you heard the conversation or if you even remember it about when I called in with the Hake Report and his guest.
Was it Krishan?
No, the guest before Krishan. And it was the guy from the debate channel, and he had decided to walk away from God because he didn't find any scientific evidence for God.
That was a fascinating talk. That was with Kaz and the Atheist Edge, I believe, on the Hake Report. Okay, great. So I'm following.
You got it. So it's pretty obvious that I get annoyed with people when they start talking about science, proofs, and evidence, and they obviously don't know what they're talking about. And one of them is with atheists. More than one time I've heard an atheist say, I don't believe in God because there's no evidence for him, and anybody that believes in God is an idiot, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've almost heard that verbatim more than a couple times in my life. And
same.
The thing about it is that there's lots of things in these people's lives that might not even exist, right? Because their language is so fundamentally simple and broken that we just say exist, not exist, but you need something that maybe sometimes you need language that's more precise, like physically existing and conceptually existing, right? Like there's no such thing as a waving flag.
There's no such thing as a waving flag.
Doesn't exist. Right?
Are you just saying like flags don't wave? I'm bad at English. I might be the wrong one.
Yeah. But action doesn't like physically exist. So there's no such thing as a wave, right? There's water waves, flags wave, but that's an action that they're doing.
Oh, so yeah, the wave itself is...
The future doesn't exist. The past doesn't exist. The only thing that actually exists is a snapshot of right now. And so you would just have a flag. Flags exist. Waving does not exist. Waving is a concept that humans with brains can imagine a past that doesn't exist. They can say that this flag through different states of its history that doesn't exist has been waving.
I think I'm following because a waving flag is really just a bunch of slices of a bunch of different moments put together into the timeline of this moving wave of the flag. Is that what you mean? Essentially,
right, but then people start talking. Yeah, but then people start talking about a wave as if it's a thing, like a light wave, right?
Go on.
And then it's like, well, what's waving, right? Light waves are traveling through space, and so you ask them what space, and they say, well, space is nothing. It's like, well, how do you travel a wave through nothing? Like, light is the only thing that they then say is a wave. And it's like, even people in science just completely start misusing their own words and their own concepts. Like, they think that these things actually exist. These concepts exist. You know, waving exists just as much as love exists, right? And you can't.
But you know what is the problem here, if I may?
Mm-hmm.
You still think that you can convince people of God.
Oh, I do?
It sounds like it.
No, not at all. What I do with the atheist dilemma is that if you do not believe in God because there's no scientific evidence of God, there is no scientific evidence for a decision choice-making entity in the entire universe either. There's no more scientific evidence for I guess you guys at Bond Church would call it the real you.
Hmm.
The thing that's not the product of his decisions and choices. If anything that comes after yours isn't you. You're not your thoughts. You're not your body. You're not your mind. You're not your brain. Right? Those are all things that the you manipulates and controls.
Mm-hmm.
That is the thing that is inspired to make a choice or a decision. The fact that you can make a choice or a decision is absolutely outside of the realm of physics and chemistry or any other discipline of science that offers evidence or proofs.
Okay.
It does not exist inside of a chemistry experiment that you see molecules making choices. There is no physics formula on how matter makes a choice, right? That's not a thing that exists in the realm of science. So we have to say that there are things that exist on some level, right? Like emotions exist, choices exist, decisions exist, waving exists. But
That's
it doesn't.
a strange metric to.
It doesn't in science. It doesn't in science. These things aren't things in science, right? Like you can waving
I'm not understanding
in science, but, there's no like science does not talk about making decisions. It talks about forces and interactions, and this will happen if you do this, but never inside of the chemistry experiments are you looking for choices to be made. And even if you study the choices of animals or something, you're really just studying their behavior. You're not studying the actual thing that's making a choice. That thing doesn't exist.
This is what I'm following on. You've described how in the observable natural world with experimentation, there is no measurement or metric for decisions. The same, and you've connected that to the action of a waving object. That the object itself and its position in space and time or whatever, that's real, but the wave that it makes isn't. And you've connected that. Am I following so far? You connected that to that which you cannot measure in the lab, which you call consciousness.
I'm not sure what you call
consciousness and decision. But what I'm
saying is that there's things that science, it's inappropriate to look for science in the first place to offer proofs and evidence towards things that are supernatural, right? Like either you believe that you make decisions or you don't.
But if I'm following what you're saying, how would you ever know that? You're saying there is no experiment, there is no proof, there is not this, and then you say, but there's some things we have to say are true, like emotions and decisions. How did you arrive to that? How did you arrive to, well, emotions and decisions are real? How did you arrive to that?
Absent any evidence, right, that I exist or God exists. My life is better if I live my life as if it were true that I exist and that God exists.
But what about emotions and decisions? You said those have to be true. How come you know that?
I didn't say those have to be true.
Or you said that we have to assume those to be true.
Do you?
No.
Okay. Do
you?
Then you don't know what I'm talking about?
Here's this, too, because you called about that atheist that talk with James and all that. And
the atheist dilemma is that if you don't believe in God because there's no evidence of God existing, and you think it's stupid to believe in something where there's no evidence, you also have to understand that science does not provide any evidence or proof for you as a decision-making, choice-making human being to exist.
That's not the atheist dilemma.
You exist on the same supernatural level as God, as far as scientific evidence.
That's not the atheist dilemma. No. That's not
looking up an atheist dilemma somewhere else online.
The atheist question, the atheist dilemma. No, I mean, look, that's not the atheist dilemmas. That's the atheist's dilemma.
Is if you don't believe in God, then you can't believe in yourself either.
Yeah, but their dilemma is not what you're saying. No.
That's what I'm saying.
Their dilemma is something else. And your dilemma is thinking that you can convince them. And their dilemma is not. Their dilemma is not what you're saying. Their dilemma is they're disconnected. They're literally like a broken branch off the tree, the source of life.
Huh?
Say again?
Do you think I'm sorry, I'm not trying to talk over you.
Yeah, my bad. Go ahead. Do I think you're trying to convince people? Well, I guess that might not be fair to say, but you did call in about this atheist and why these atheists don't believe in God. Is that fair? Is that what you mean by the atheist dilemma, why they don't believe in God? And it sounds like your response to that is, well, they have a wrong view of concepts and a bunch of things. And I'm just saying that's not their dilemma.
If you're going to say that it's stupid to believe in something without scientific evidence for its existence, there is no scientific evidence for the existence of something that can make choices and decisions in the universe. There's no scientific evidence for a true consciousness that can defy the laws of physics and thermodynamics and make a choice and decide to move matter in a certain way other than that it was already pre-programmed to move the matter. And if you really think about it, the word that we have in okay.
And people assume that's true. People assume what you're saying is true. You're right. People assume it's true without evidence. That's what you're saying, right?
Okay, yeah. If I decide right now that I am going to get on a plane, travel halfway across the country, go see my grandma at Christmas time, get out of the plane, go into a taxi, drive to her house, and I'm going to have a turkey dinner with her, right? And then that happens. The amount of calculations of molecules bouncing around and colliding with each other, the amount of calculations to figure that out just by looking at the totality of mass and matter and how it's spinning around and be able to say, like, this glob of matter here is going to be 800 miles somewhere else doing exactly what it knew what it was going to do a month ago. The amount of power it would take to calculate that
CJ
is astronomical.
Wrap this point up.
So in science,
wrap
when
this
I say
point
I'm
up,
going to do
CJ.
something a month from now, hold on, okay, I will. In science, what we call, like, if I say I'm going to do this in a month from now, then I do it. The scientific term for what I just did is called magic.
Okay, so quickly, and thanks, and we just don't have the time to ponder everything here, but thank you, CJ.
That's fine.
In your estimation, why don't atheists believe in God? Why are they that way? That might be a strange question.
They've been fooled into thinking
what is the atheist's ultimate dilemma?
That,
in short, the atheist's ultimate dilemma. In short, in your opinion, go.
not believing in God because there's no evidence means you should also not believe that you yourself exist because there's no evidence for that either.
Oh, dang. That's pretty clear, actually. Right on, CJ. That makes sense. I'm moving the wheels here, sir. Anything else you want to say?
I don't want to click on you.
Oh, well, peace. Thank you, CJ. And thank you for the attention to the click. Let's keep rocking the calls. Frederick, Los Angeles, California, you're on the air.
What's going on, Nick?
All is well, Frederick. Appreciate your call. Go ahead.
All is well. All is well. I like the
goes?
guest you had on there yesterday. Hey, man, we had a good conversation.
Big time. You like that kosher tax talk at the end.
I know, right? Yeah, he agreed. He agreed with that, huh? Something to look into. He said, yeah, they go in there and they pay money for that certification. That's what I was talking about. But, yeah, they pay big money and they got a monopoly on that. But other thing I wanted to say, he was pro-Israel. But when he was saying there were few that feel like this and a few that feel like that, if you combine the few that feel like Israel don't belong there or the few that feel like, yeah, they're doing what Hitler was doing, I want to talk to those people living in Israel, because talking to the people from Israel, only way we can get a good idea. And he was saying, yes, there's people.
You think so all the time?
Huh?
You saying talking to the people from their good idea. And I think that's true. But I think in general, you got to keep a space with all things. I'm sure people even from there, you know, let's say this is maybe a dumb side note, but I talk to people from places all the time and they have no idea, not a real understanding of what's going on. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
But Tomer seemed to have it. Tomer seemed to know what's going on though. So anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, but the extent he's willing to kill Muslims is like putting them in a Holocaust, but not saying so. You see how?
Right. But it's a little different when you get it from someone from there, huh? It hits a little different.
Yeah, you don't have no problem with murder. He said, yeah, you do become what you
it didn't sound like that to me. It sounded like it's not. He didn't see it as murder. Basically, which is so that's just a little bit clear, but it's a little bit different when you get it out of the mouth of a man that's from there, right? Because it's not anymore. It's not Twitter. It's a man who you got to understand. You born there, and Israel got hit. They got hit hard. Would you agree with that? They got hit hard.
That is not a hard hit. I don't say they got hit hard. No.
There was death.
9/11.
There was death. Right. 9/11. Yeah. Okay, 9/11 was worse. There was death. Right. It was a significant hit. Enough. People. What do you do in that situation? Let's take off the name Israel and Palestine. Let's just have nation A, nation B. What do? You
secure your border so it don't happen again.
Right. And that means different things sometimes. Okay, so I'm just not saying let's missile. You got to missile these people, and I don't agree with no innocence. But my take on no innocence in Gaza is no one believes in that. In what I'm saying about that.
But their mindset is on that, so it's like, wow, what a heinous people. Where is the guy? He knows it's a godless country. He knows that it's us or nobody. And we're willing to rape, pillage, and murder Iran, Iraq, any Muslim country.
You said that's what my guest was saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he did make it clear that instead of doing what's militarily good, godless people in anger are kind of leading the way. And when you have that in power, in anything, that's how it goes down. That's why we need this radical stuff we're talking about here. This radical thing about love, forgiveness, and the thoughts are lies.
Do you think the politicians are aware that the people are waking up faster than the politicians in office? And if they keep sending money to Israel, they're going to be voted out next term. It only takes a wave of new politicians to say, we see what's happening, and we're going to be a replacement. And all the politicians' shift would change because everybody's pro-Israel in politics right now. That's the theocracy that I want out. And everybody, they're not even speaking for us. Joe Biden, he's Zionist. I mean, they're putting other countries' needs before our own, even as these borders are open. They're not checking and see if Muslims or Hamas is coming through there with these immigrants from Honduras and Guatemala, Mexico. You know what I'm saying? They're doing us a disservice.
Maybe. Yeah. Possibly. I mean,
Possibly.
Yeah,
Maybe.
America first. I think when they're showing anything other than that, you're saying just
but the guest
just
that he was saying
there's a blanket amount that goes to Israel and all that, and I don't even know if that gets questioned. So, is that what you mean?
Yeah, I like your guest yesterday and your guest yesterday. I got a lot of good information out of them, man.
Really, like what?
How their hearts are really, you know what I'm saying, how they really feel.
Like what?
Like Hank Guest, he was more aware of the Jared Kushner deals with Trump falling through over there in the Middle East. The $100 billion arms deal that Trump made that's no longer intact. See, it was quiet. Nobody was talking about it when it was happening, but because everybody loved Trump and everybody hated the libtards. So it was like, oh, nobody's worried about Kushner over here with no experience making deals, and he ain't never even went to school for this stuff. Like, what is he even doing? See, and now we having turmoil and war. It's just like once America put these strings and cross their T's together, they're going to wake up and realize. I believe so. And why did he say, this is another thing he said. He said the real Jews, the priests, study the older religion, like the Pharaoh's religion. They don't even
And that's
study
all like
the
super important to you.
Huh?
And that's all like super important to you.
Why ain't everybody allowed those books? The Egyptology.
But that's like super, all this is like really important.
Yes,
and why?
This is my ancestry, and they won't let me in the museum because of Egyptology, and they don't whitewash to where Egyptians came from and all of this, but they study these books that's secured by nobody allowed to see these books. I think that's kind of odd. I don't know. Maybe y'all don't care about stuff like that, but I'm going to keep on digging when it's my people, and they don't dig up the graves.
I mean, you find all that important, right?
Solomon.
And I let you rattle on a bit about all that.
Jesus' grave at?
I let you rattle on a bit about all that. And I'm sitting here thinking, but this is the guy, because I'm about like, people need to get over these identities. We've talked about a number of things here.
Religion is the identity. Religion is the identity.
Right, but you're like all into that. Here's what I want to describe. Let me demonstrate. I'll let you rattle on, Frederick. Let me demonstrate something here.
All right, go ahead. Make sure you stay on topic, though.
No. You're going to follow me on the topic I'm about to give you. You're going to follow me in whatever topic I lay out.
Though. Go ahead.
No. You're going to follow me on what I'm going to paint here, whatever I say.
We're going to see. We're going to see if you're saying it's true.
We're going to see if you're going to listen to what I'm going to say. That's what we're going to see.
Is it true?
So Frederick's on hold because Frederick, and I know he can hear me, because he has this thing right now. And he's like, well, it's just Israel and support and the money going, and that it's not for the right reasons. He has this, he's describing how it's two-faced. There's a two-facedness in politics. There's a two-facedness in our support with Israel and their support back and that whole relationship. He's talking about this two-facedness. Is that how you say that? Two-faced people, two-faced politics, two-faced people. You following? And it's about this two-facedness that he's trying to describe. But to me, the truest two-facedness you could be is to say, oh, I want to get rid of theocracy and all these identities, but actually you're all about that, okay? What, wasn't it you about the N-word and all that, Frederick? When you say, Frederick, okay, you can't say that word because you're going to get beat up. I'm just saying this out of protection, and I just care about you white people. You guys are going to get yourselves hurt out there by saying that word. But isn't that a commentary as well? Isn't there another side to that coin? Isn't that a commentary on black people? How come they're in anywhere in that equation, it doesn't come out of you to say, you know what? Black people are wrong for that, and they got to do their work on that. Because if you're a person who really cared about what I'm saying here, like about identities and that's what I'm describing here. Okay, so that's what I'm into. You see what I'm saying, Frederick? It's like two-face this, two-face that. But
who am I to judge?
But you'll yuck it up. You'll yuck it up when some guy's getting beat up because he said the N-word. You say, well, he said the N-word. He's got what's coming to him.
You say I yuck it up. I do not say I yuck it up. Who am I to judge? You want me to laugh and yuck it up. If I tell you don't say it, how am I yucking it up?
But you said, but that's not. You're saying don't
say it, Nick.
But what about the commentary on black people though? What does that say about them? Does it say anything?
That means everybody's different. Quit putting
everybody. Does it say anything about black people?
Everybody's different. It ain't black people.
No. But does it say anything about black people?
No, it don't.
That word you got to be careful.
No,
you got to be careful
don't.
saying that one. You can get yourself hurt saying that one.
Because
does that say anything
different.
about black people at all?
No.
Why?
Because people are different. You putting everybody in a group. That's your fault.
But how come it's that word? How come you can't say that word? And that one, you got to be careful with that one because you're going to get hurt, particularly with that one.
People are different.
Who's going to hurt you, though? What people are different and what's different about them?
The ones that will. I don't know.
We're talking about blacks, and what's different about them is that they're angry.
All of them won't hurt you. So if blacks...
No, but it's enough. It's enough of them will that you have a particular that you have your little advice for white people. Enough of them will. Would you at least agree that enough of them will? Obviously, it's not all, Frederick. We all know this. We all know this.
No, I won't.
It's not all, but you obviously know that enough of them will that you have a different advice to people that you'd give out.
No, you're slow. Because when you know you had a guest on there yesterday saying Muslims, enough of them will, we should kill all of them. And you're okay
That's not
with
what he
that,
said.
him thinking.
That's not what he said.
So
he said not all, but most. When you were Frederick, when you pressed him, he said not all, but most. What do you think about that? Are you going to ignore that part? Frederick.
Yeah, exactly. You're walking back.
You gotta calm down, Frederick. Listen.
I don't want you walking back your statement.
There's what statement? There's no walking back. You're just yelling at the wall. You gotta calm down and talk to me, man. Listen. Are you missing the part where Tomer said not all, but most? You forget about that part?
Most is still wrong.
But you see that it doesn't fit your narrative. You came in here guns a-blazing. You were sure that he judged every heart. And then when you pressed him, he said not all, but most. Is that not the very thing you were trying to preach?
No. It's not.
Okay.
I'm saying
I don't know,
you can't control other people, Nick. And some people out there will knock your block off, and not most.
But isn't that a commentary on the situation? It's not just. Hey, hold on, Frederick. It's not just saying some words and you just get your block knocked off by certain people. No, it's saying specific words will get you get your block knocked off by specific people.
Exactly, it will, not most.
And that's a commentary on the situation, no?
And this is like
isn't that a commentary on those people? Shouldn't that be a moment of reflection?
Can you stop mentally ill people from being mentally ill?
So black people are mentally ill? They're just a bunch of crazy people, is that what you're saying?
It could be a small
the whole population is not all, but most are crazy, is what you're saying?
Listen, there could be a small percentage that smack people when they hear the N-word that has mental illness, and you wouldn't know the difference.
Okay. Well, I just think we disagree. I think most people know that.
No, because that's a fact. You'll put all that mental illness on that small percentage on all blacks. So therefore...
But that's not... The people who are okay with it are... They're normal people.
I'm not saying I'm okay with it. I'm saying don't because people aren't the same. I'm saying don't. I'm not saying I'm okay with it. I ain't saying dude should whoop your ass. You put words in my mouth, Nick. I'm trying to protect you. Those that can't fight, please don't say it.
You're ridiculous. Don't bring this up. Don't bring this up because it's going to look bad for you, okay? Don't do that. We're being nice to you right now. We're being letting you go on. We heard what you said, okay? And it wasn't just what you chatted. And then you called in the hate report. You added a little extra oomph to that. We all heard that too. Frederick, don't play around. Frederick, you're gonna let me talk. Fred, don't play around because it wasn't just this. It's just what you said in the chat. We all heard what you said on the Hake report, and that was pretty spicy, man. You really added some oomph to what you said in the chat. So don't play around about that, okay? So you're the one that got mad. You're the one that got mad. Frederick, you're the one that got mad, and you got a little crazy on the Hake report in the chat. And here we are pretty nice to you, and you're still allowed to call. So calm down, okay? You're the one that said, hey, with veiled threats, hey, Hake, and I would be careful what you say because people might be coming your way, da-da-da. We all heard, so don't, with your little veiled threats. So, Frederick, you're the one that got mad, and we're still cool with you, so just chill out. Anyways, what's the last thing you want to say?
No one can make you mad through some text. You can't say someone's mad.
Right, you were the one that was mad. It was pretty ridiculous.
How can you say
so, Frederick,
I'm mad?
Last thing you want to say before we move the wheels?
I got off the phone before the N-word was said. With the
guy, I mean, this is stupid to address, but folks, discern for yourself, folks. Those at home, discern for yourself. When someone says, hey, we're going to pull up, they're going to pull up with roses, right, folks? That's what someone says, right? When we pull up with 20 guys, they're pulling up with daisies. That's what they're doing, right?
Can I ask
right
you a
on,
question?
Frederick. Last thing you want to make one last point, then we're moving on.
One question.
Go ahead.
Hank seemed like he changed his stance on that. I want to know if Jesse told him, I got to live here. Y'all don't.
Start again. Can you say that again?
Hank sounded like he changed his stance on saying the N-word. So I want to know, did Jesse have a say where he was like, I got to live here and y'all don't? Don't promote the N-word stance. Because I'm noticing y'all banning the towers all of a sudden. Y'all never.
I don't know. I don't know anything about that. Haven't heard anything like that. Jesse's never said anything about not or saying the N-word or anything like that. The only thing he's ever told us is to don't be crazy and get yourself banned. Like, go around saying slurs and stuff. That's as far as he's ever told us. I don't know about anything else, man.
You got scared, and it was a big
well, I answered your question. Now you're just insinuating. You don't want to accept the answer. I don't know about what you're talking about.
It seemed like it was blew out of proportion.
You keep adding to it like a woman. But it just seems. I already answered you, and you're like, yeah, but it just seems. But I told you it's not that way. Oh, but it seems. Pretty evil, Frederick. See how nice we are to you? I don't know why.
Oh my God! Bye.
Take care, Frederick. Okay. And he still clicked. And on top of all that, he went and clicked on the line. I don't know. I never ban N-word towers, but I think my mods might. And it might be a good idea. I don't know. I don't know if it's bad or not. I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for that, but people have been doing faith towers in my chat. They're doing towers right now. Look at this. Look at this mess. I don't ever really see the N-word towers banned in my chat. But I know the Hake report is just, it's family friendly. You want to call it, censorship. Hey, it's called being family friendly, folks. Can we have at least some shows that are family friendly on this network? Folks, back-to-back calls. Justin, Fullerton, California. Thank you for your call. You're on the air. Justin, Fullerton, going once. Yo. Wait, did I mute anything here? Okay, Justin. All right, call me. Someone check on him. I'll just put him on hold. What are y'all saying in the chat, okay? Carver, thank you for the super chat, says, wow, CJ is a genius. Not even sarcastic. Or am I? Is that shade? Or is it? No one will ever know, Carver. Coded shade. Or is it? Skyjack with the super chat previously, thank you, says, R.I.P. Marvin. Is this Heemeyer? Who's that? I just Googled Marvin Heemeyer. This person died a while ago, didn't he? I know who this is. I had my viewer super chat about the legend of Marvin Heemeyer. Anyone knows who I'm talking about? He's that guy in like Colorado somewhere back in the 2004. And he took a modified bulldozer on a rampage. He just wouldn't. It was the camel that's the straw that broke the camel's back. The city had encroached on his land once, just too far, something like that. He took a modified bulldozer on a rampage. It was actually very destructive. I think it ended with him dying. He may have killed himself. It's kind of messed up. I mean, that was a while ago. Skyjack, R.I.P. Marvin Heemeyer, I guess. Karen Williams, thank you for your super chat. Says thank you for your super chat from Karen Williams. Nice. You guys rock. Appreciate the super chats. Did I miss this one from earlier? Matthew coming in strong with this, but like, friggin', what can you do as an individual? But make yourself right. Work out. Didn't they say something about working out your own salvation? Is that real? Work out your own salvation. That could be misinterpreted. I think for me, it just means focus on yourself. Don't give up on yourself. Work out your salvation. Buffering. And we're back. Something happened, but it seems like I'm back. I have more viewers than ever. You guys rock. Been supporting me here on Rumble, DLive, and YouTube. Keeping my stuff growing, liking and sharing, commenting away. I do appreciate it. I do have many callers on hold. I will get to all of you. Thank you, Kara Williams. I already said yours. Freedom Music, also super. Wow, these are all from today. Freedom Music says Mr. Baby. Hake with the super chat with a little hippo guy. And Frederick from LA says, oh, that was from yesterday. What am I saying? How did Jews keep Shabbat before? These all say from November 7th. This is strange. Anyways, appreciate it anyways. Why don't we rock calls? We already got into the stuff we had to say. Okay. Bingo, bango, bongo. Let's get to Greg, New York. You're on the air. Thank you for your call.
Hey, Nick. How's it going?
No problem here. All is well. Appreciate it.
So, I heard you guys, you and Hake and maybe other people were talking about the N-word.
Yes. Big time.
So...
Your word is negus.
What did you say?
Have you ever seen that little white kid at a spelling bee and they make him spell negus?
Yeah. Love that meme.
Go ahead.
So, just a quick history of my background. I'm white. I was born in Washington State. I don't really remember much from there, but I know my parents were a part of a church where there was a lot of black people. It was kind of a mixture. And then but then I lived in Georgia, and I'll tell you what, you look at my kindergarten picture, maybe I'll show it to you one day, but I was one of 3 white kids. And I thought nothing of it. It was Georgia, it was the South. Everybody was very nice. You know, they had the Southern hospitality and whatnot. But then eventually I moved to New York, where I'm calling from now. And I'll tell you what, up here it is totally different. This is probably the place I actually learned that word. And, you know, people don't like using it, and they don't think nobody has a right to say it. And it's just not our word to use as white people and and stuff like that. And then my mom was actually born in Detroit, Michigan, and her parents told her that not even when she was little, not even to look at black people, because if she were to look at them and make eye contact, they would kill her. So
she was told that?
Yeah, by her parents.
Your mother, you said?
My mother.
Interesting. All fascinating things here, if I may comment here. Is it true? I've heard this about the South. Someone said, I heard once, that the South is racist in theory, but not in action.
That sounds correct. I'll tell you what. I mean, they do have I don't know if you've heard Alex say this, Alex Jones, but he says like that Southern drawl is kind of like from England, like similar to the English accent.
Yeah.
Like Shakespeare. Yeah, exactly.
No, I have heard this. No, in fact, that whole accent came from it was like the middle ground between 2 different accents. I was watching this whole thing on that.
Yeah,
but it does come from there. Yeah,
kind of pompous,
it's a vestige of that accent.
Like, I think the English people maybe at one time looked down on all the other people because their country was kind of top dog. So then that kind of transferred over to the South, where they think they're number one, and kind of talk down to you. I don't know if there's racism. I mean, I tell you what, blacks are blacks down there because, you know, when I was little, they did steal my bike. I had a really nice bike, and my mom had modified it for me to sound like a motorcycle, but they took my bike out of my garage, cut the things off, and they painted it black, tried to sell it. Or excuse me, they painted it gold, tried to sell it, but then they ended up just taking the tires off and throwing it in the dumpster. So they do that. And those are my friends. You know, I didn't think nothing of it. I was young and innocent at that point, so I wasn't mad at them or anything. I just thought, oh, they took my bike and threw it in the trash, whatever.
Oh,
didn't really care.
So that's how you knew it was black kids or whatever.
Well, I mean, they were my neighbors, so
oh, gotcha.
I knew.
So, but I say that because I say that because I think that may be somewhat true in that they say something about the South that, because like you describing going into the city and that whole notion with that word and the division amongst the races kind of becoming more apparent, right? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, definitely.
And so I noticed this too. For example, there was this whole Twitter thing, and it was 𝒔𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔. You know who that is?
Yes, sir.
He's a person. He's living in Canada. He's a Lebanese man, I believe. But he's a Jew. He calls himself a Jewish man. And he had this whole thing recently where he basically lampooned white people as like Jew haters.
Yep.
And specifically like Southern people. He's tweeted. He said, he made up a hypothetical scenario, and he says, by the way, I'm 𝒔𝒐𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔. I'm from Arkansas, and I have river to the sea, right? And so he made this basically lampooned white Southerners as Jew haters, and it brought up this whole thing, and it brought him a whole bunch of hate. And I noticed this thing about the South because now people are like, well, these are actually, he's right. These are a bunch of Southern Jew haters, but it's like, no, they don't like the disrespect because it's like it's supposed to be like an honor thing. We were cool. Why throw a rock at a sideways here at a friend? It has nothing to do with the Jew thing. You know what I'm saying? But it's the city people who care about the race thing. In a roundabout way.
I lived in the South, and I never heard anything anti-Jewish. If anything, that's the Bible Belt where people love the Bible and are really into that end time stuff, and I love the Jews because they want Israel to be their home or whatever those people think. But I want to tell you, when I moved to New York, though, they got 11 million of them in New York City. I'm pretty sure this is one of the hot spots, so maybe that's why they're brought up more here, at least where I hear about them now. I don't know. But never in the South. Where are you getting that from? Is that a true thing? You heard that? People in the South don't like it? Or is that just what Gad said, that lampooned all white people in the South?
Yeah, that's what he did. And I'm noticing that, it seems to me like the response is Southern people don't like that. But it's not out of an anti-Semitic thing. It's like out of just like, hey, that's just not honorable. It's not cool. Just trying to make the point here that I've heard the South doesn't really care about race as much as they say they do.
No. I mean, it's weird. People up here in the North do say that, though. They do talk trash about the South. They say, like, oh, well, someone's, like, one time my high school teacher told me that if you open the door for a black person or something in the South, they'll shoot you or something. I don't know. People up here in the North do make up stuff about that, but when I lived down there, I got nothing like that. Everybody's very nice. They let you in your house. They let you in their house. They'll make you dinner. It's really Southern hospitality. It's a real thing. So I don't know what they're talking about.
Right on, Greg. Well, anything else you want to say before we move on here?
I had a quick question.
Yes.
I was wondering, this may be a silly question, but I was wondering what you thought about what Jesse's been saying at the end of his show on Friday, I think, and then towards the end of the show today, he just said, "I'm a Zionist."
You want to know what I think about that?
I want to be a Zionist. What?
You want to know what I think about that?
What?
Well, that's what you're asking?
Yeah.
Okay.
What was your opinion when that happened?
I'm a Zionist. He just looks at you. He's like, hey, he came out of that show too. He came out of the studio. He looked at us. He's like, I'm a Zionist. Did you know I'm a Zionist? It was so funny. Why? What do you think he means by that?
Well, I remember your comment about saying, do you really think Jesse and Alex, do you really think these guys are with the globalists? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I agree with that. I agree with what you're saying.
Like, duh.
I really don't think that. Yeah, no freaking duh. But what do I think about it? I tell you what, he gets all my friends angry when he says stuff like that.
But what do your friends think he means by that? Or what do you think?
They think that when he says something like that, or when he says something like, if Israel falls, America will fall. When he says something, they think he's like a legitimate Zionist that must be getting money from somewhere or something. There has some. I'm serious. They think this. I don't know where they're getting it from.
That's their crazy mind.
I don't understand it.
That's their crazy mind. Like they're so. How can you be so blind and obtuse to see Jesse and understand understand his upbringing, Alabama, and see his story, and then judge him and see, well, because he says this word, it has to be that. Is it like this man has presented his whole life, 30 years on radio. And people want to hinge on this word Zionism. And I'm not saying you or your friends are doing that, but you see what I'm saying here? It's like, how blind do you have to be? This guy has put himself out, his story, Alabama and all that. It's so clear to me that Zionism, he cares about, to him, it's like the spirit of Israel, the spirit of Judaism, how he sees that connection to Christianity, not the politics of the Likud government today, and and then of course there may be deeper things here. What he thinks about Bibi Netanyahu and maybe this or that politics. I'm sure he has maybe opinions on that. You'll have to ask himself. You'll have to ask him on that. And he has quite a sophisticated worldview on those things. But he doesn't get into all that. Like like it's much simpler to him, and that should be clear to people.
He's black and slow. I mean, why are my friends thinking that he's got some master plan or something? I highly doubt it. I'm from the South. I know black people like that. They're not like that.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, it was good talking to you. And then one last thing. I've been seeing this guy on YouTube lately. He's like a numerology guy. Have you guys ever thought of having people that do numerology on your guys' shows?
That would be cool. I saw something recently about that. And these guys, the way they talk, it would be so cool to maybe do a Fallen State. Because they have this way of speaking it, and they'll talk about your life specifically. It does make you think about like tarot card readers and other fugazi things. But, it's numerology. Am I on the right track here? You're talking about the same thing? You were born
100%.
The worst year of your life was 2012. Because you were born 94. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. If you have any names, man, please reach out. radio@JesseLeePeterson.com.
Got it. Radio disagree. Okay, cool. All right, and then I'll call in and ask Jesse about the Zionism comment. I thought it was hilarious. It was so funny because
can you tell
the end of the show.
If you're any kind of person who's normal, you would also see the little bit of spirit that he's like messing with people. He's like, I'm a Zion. Like, you know what I mean? Like, am I making sense here? Like, he's clearly playing on people's emotions here because that word gets him going. So it's like, oh, guess what, folks? I'm a Zionist. Here I am killing the joke by explaining it. Greg, thank you for your call.
You're welcome. Talk to you later.
Okay. Gosh, dang, we got so many calls. Let's keep them going. I don't have anything important to say. Maybe I have some important things to say now and then. Okay. There was something I did want to say, though. Dang. I won't be able to paint this picture. There's, I know what I want to say, but I don't know how to say it. Maybe it's not time. The words have to come naturally. I'll tell you how tomorrow. Let's do another call. Let's try. We got first-time caller, Thomas, New York. You're on the air.
Hello.
What's up, Thomas? Thanks for your call.
Hey, how's it going, man? So I was watching the show today, and sorry, got my dog barking here. I was watching the show, and something you were talking about, or just a minor comment you made, reminded me of something that's been on my mind. You were talking about. Sorry about that. You were talking
Chito
about.
Perro. Sorry.
You said something like, "Oh, things are getting worse," and then you stopped yourself and you said, "Oh, I shouldn't judge. I shouldn't judge it as worse or better." And like that idea or concept of judgment and when and if it's appropriate has been on my mind, especially since Monday, where the experts were talking to Jesse about is it right to say you're a pitiful person?
Oh, yeah. This was a good discussion.
So it's been on my mind, and I'm watching you. I watch you guys talk about it and stuff, and so I just was kind of, it's just been on my mind, and I was just calling to see what your thoughts on it were, and what do you think about it? When is it okay to say things are getting worse if you notice that they are or believe that they are? Is it all right to say you're a pitiful person?
So help me understand the disconnect you're having with that, I guess. You're saying you don't want to call yourself pitiful, is what you're saying?
No. I guess I'm asking you, what do you think about it? Do you think it's right or wrong to call somebody a pitiful person?
To call someone else a pitiful? I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. It's a strange thing to. Let me try and think about this. It's a strange thing, I think, to say that it's right or wrong. Like, why is that person calling that person pitiful? Like, I don't know. Like, if let's go back to Sunday, and it's Jesse calling someone pitiful.
Yeah. So at the end of
tell me what you think about that.
At the end of Sunday, what Jesse said, well, if you think a certain way, then you are a pitiful person.
Mm-hmm.
And when he said that, I was watching it, and I didn't even know going in, because I've been hearing the question all week. Are you a pitiful person?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't know. I haven't really engaged with it too much in my mind. And then when he said that, if you do this, you're a pitiful person. If you do this, this, and this. And I did feel a sense of freedom when he said it the way he did towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I found the follow-up discussion about it really interesting, because I felt like, okay, maybe I have some judgments about myself that I'm a pitiful person, but everybody kind of does, and it doesn't matter. Like, that's how it made me feel, if that makes sense. It kind of freed me, and it's telling me I'm a pitiful person, or saying if I do these certain things, I'm a pitiful person.
So do you think it's okay to call someone that?
I do, yeah.
And so what'd you get about what'd you take out of the whole discussion?
What I took was, well, I just find the whole discussion very interesting, because I've had those kind of arguments in my own head.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wait, but it's wrong to judge, but then how come it's okay to call someone a beta or an alpha? You know what I'm saying? And then I've kind of had this
okay, let's work this out.
Yeah.
Why so you understood something about the pitiful talk, and you see someone, so what is it then, in your estimation? What is it that makes someone pitiful?
What is it like pitiful? Can another word be pathetic, or?
And after this talk with Jesse and Sunday and everything, have you concluded what pitiful is? What makes a person pitiful?
What makes a person pitiful?
Yeah.
When they believe when they identify with their emotions,
right?
And they're in that place, and I'm not saying.
And what's pitiful about that?
What's pitiful about it is you act like an idiot, or not like an idiot.
And why? Why is that pitiful? It's like, why are you? Yeah, go on.
But it's the devil is setting you up in a sense to look pitiful.
Yes, and so the pitiful part is believing the lie. The
pitiful part is you are. So then it comes down to this, right? I think I got this. The question is, does a pitiful person exist? Is that a real thing?
Okay.
Is that a reality that there are pitiful people? Is that a reality, right?
Okay.
I think that's what it will come down to, is if you believe there are or aren't.
And you were saying that there are, because you concluded that the people the people who are pitiful are the people who believe this lie, and that's the pitiful part, right?
Right. Like if you believe it of yourself and you're identifying with it, you're most likely condemning yourself for it too. And so like when.
But the person, okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
And so I guess to just for time, because of time here.
Yeah.
I am somewhat aware of what you're trying to bring up, okay? And it essentially boils down to, well, there's the belief. To even say that is to accept something, accept a form of lie here. To even say that you can be pitiful, that there are pitiful people, okay?
Yeah.
But I noticed everyone was expecting Jesse to say, there are no pitiful people.
I wasn't.
There are no pitiful people.
Everybody.
Hands up in the air. But it's like, it's like, isn't that a pitiful state to be in, though, to believe the lie?
Okay, so now...
And it's like, if you could just not do that, isn't it such a pity that it's so simple that you believe in this thing? You think it's all this stuff. You think it's devices. You think it's all this crazy stuff. It's going to be so hard to fix and da-da-da. Isn't that so pitiful?
Right.
You could just wake up.
You could just wake up and it's that easy.
So
I know.
the person calling someone pitiful, are they mean for that, or are they unloving? What do you think about the person in that scenario calling someone pitiful? Are they wrong for that?
That depends.
It's not clear to you that that person is just trying to wake someone up from their pitiful state?
If that's their intention, then yeah.
That should be clear to you if the person's saying you're pitiful for believing your emotions and thoughts. Then it should be clear as day that that person is like, okay, I know people take it personally, but if you could take a step back, it should be clear that that person's trying to wake you up from the lie.
It would be dependent on if they're operating from love or from anger.
Right, but no, someone who doesn't operate, maybe someone's lying, but it's like.
Well, either way,
it's like
true.
people. A hateful person doesn't speak like that. It's just, you know what I'm saying here. Like that person's trying to wake you up from the lie of the thoughts.
A hateful person can easily call somebody pitiful.
Right. But if someone's trying to say that, but the reason you're pitiful is not because you are a trash person, you truly are a bad person. No, it's because you believe the lie. That person is showing you love. That person is clearly showing you love.
Yeah, right. I agree. And the reason it's love is also because I think that when you're in that state, and not saying like I'm out of it I'm doing my best here, but I have seen a lot in these last few months, and since I've been working this, and what I'm saying is when you're in that state, whether you're like, I don't know, if you get angry at times, you lash out, if you're acting in that pitiful manner because you're identifying with your thoughts and your emotions, you probably, or I think most likely, condemn yourself as a pitiful person and don't realize it. That's what I'm saying. And so
I got you. I knew what you're saying. You're trying to describe that there's something that doesn't gel with you about that. It doesn't really fit the message to put that on someone that they're pitiful. But it's not. But it's not you who's doing that.
I agree with it. I agree.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Exactly.
No, I agree with it. What I'm saying is, the question was raised on Monday: is it right to call somebody a pitiful person?
Oh, yeah. No, I'm following. You're so right. It's dependent on the heart. It's so not.
On the heart,
it's so not the outside. You're 1,000,000%. You got to say the right thing. No, it's the heart.
Yeah, and for me on Sunday, what it did is it made me realize that like I said, I believe that most people in the fallen state, when they're identifying with their emotions and their thoughts, believe on some level that they are a pitiful person and are in denial of it. So, like, so how can I overcome it and be not pitiful if I deny that I even believe I am? Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
I think it does a little bit.
Like, that's what I got. I just thought it was such an interesting discussion, and
definitely.
And it made me think, because I have thought in the past, well, no, that's wrong to call somebody something like that. That would be wrong to judge them as that. But if you are coming from a place of love, and I say, well, you're a pitiful person, you're trying to overcome. If you don't see it, when I say it, maybe you'll realize I do believe I am, and then at that moment you could be free. Because that's how I felt.
Oh, you think that when you're saying that to someone, oh, you're pitiful, that it's almost like you're saying, I can see that you're trying to overcome, and you're still in the good old fight, and here I am kicking you while you're down, you pitiful person, instead of understanding them a bit.
The way Jesse said it on Sunday, I found freeing because it made me realize, wow, part of me does believe I'm a pitiful person, and I wasn't even thinking about it before he said it.
Yeah, yep.
And then once I saw that I did, now I could overcome because I see.
Man. Right on,
Does that make
Thomas.
sense?
It does. It really does.
I don't know. I just find it to be a real interesting topic.
Thank you, Thomas. I like that discussion, man. Call me again.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, man.
And we got Scott, Arizona, back to back.
Title and the wire instructions.
Oh, Scott.
Hey Nick, how's it going?
Oh, Scott, we got you. Thank you for calling the show, sir. You're on the air.
I gotta go. I'm sorry. Hey, Nick,
You're busy.
Sorry, no, sorry. I'm good. I'm at work and I was on a call. My apologies.
The side
I wanted to
piece
talk about
chat.
the word
We're the side piece chat. No, that's a joke.
I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah,
sorry.
Well, you know,
All
my
is well.
life comes first. I apologize. It always will. You know, and I hope yours comes first for you too. So I wanted to talk about the word pitiful because it's actually an ancient, archaic word, and everyone's been wrong about what it means.
Nice.
First of all,
thanks.
to pity someone isn't even the proper use of the term. Pity means emotion. A pit is an internal hole, is an emotion. It's like a metaphorical word that has a colloquial understanding, right? So to be pitiful means to be full of emotions. And it doesn't mean to invoke someone else's pity towards you, even though that is the modern definition and the use of it in our modern society. It's not what the word actually means. It's just the way it's evolved over time, which again is why you can never know history, right? You can never know what you're talking about truly, because even what I'm saying is just research I've done, right?
Gotcha. Pitiful. Interesting. I like that.
Yeah, so if you actually look up in the dictionary and you find the right dictionary or a good one, it'll show the archaic meaning, and it literally says to be full of compassion.
Oh, no.
Right? And so, or to arouse compassion.
Oh,
and
no.
So to pity someone, right. So to pity someone is not to look down on them at all. Well, although there's a semantic argument there, but it is literally to feel someone else's emotion. To pity them is to relate to them. And even though we modernly use it as this, like, oh, I'm better than you sort of concept, that's not what it truly means. And when you break that down, Jesse's understanding of the word is spot on. To be pitiful means to identify with emotions.
Right. And I think that's why people kind of receive it in that way, too. I think there's a general, either you get ingratiated, like you're like, oh, yes, I got this person on my side. They really care about me. Or you get mad. They're like, how is this person pitying me? They think they're better. Right. It's always a judgment.
Yeah,
it's always a better, it's always a better or a positive or negative value judgment.
Right. And it was really interesting to watch the show yesterday because ultimately, like Sean and Joel were identifying with something outside of the truth and the message that was being presented. Because even if you don't understand, if you don't have the common definition of a word, you can still understand what someone means by that word by inquiring, right? Does that make sense? Like by asking them, what do you mean? Because we all have different definitions for words. We all use multiple words in multiple contexts.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed there's a really interesting thing whenever you're bringing, and it's like cognitive dissonance or what have you, whenever you're bringing a concept to someone, they're either going to enter two different modes, either like battle mode or understanding mode. And in battle mode, they can't get through whatever they're experiencing in order to find common understanding, to even begin to process what you're saying.
I see what you're saying. Right on, Scott. Yeah, I think.
What do you think? Are you a pitiful person?
No. I mean, wait, yes. No? If anytime what I said was like, I just remember all the times that I would get mad if someone pitied me because I could sense that. And I'm like, how dare you? I wouldn't do that to someone else. Why would you do that to me? But then I also remember all the times that I'd make a little face or something because I wanted the person to comment on my bad day or something or whatever I'm feeling. And that's basically me wanting some pity. But then after the discussion, I didn't realize how little I knew about pity.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting too because most people view pity as an external thing.
Yeah, but I definitely didn't think that. I definitely didn't think that. You know, it wasn't that. It was off. It was just clear that the whole point was to, not to insult or to, you know what I mean, to say that you truly are a pitiful person. It's just pitiful that you believe the lie and you can overcome it.
Yeah, and it's discernment, right? Like it's like, let's just take something benign, right? Like fat. People are fat and people are skinny. Well, it's discernment to identify that someone's fat, and then it's pitiful to hate them for it.
Oh yeah.
And that's everything. All pitiful is just the identification with an emotion.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pitiful because I identify with my emotions on accident all the time, right?
Right, and that's a pity.
The devil
Right.
gets me. Yeah, because again, like it means to be full of pits, like to be full of traps.
Right, and it's a pity because you really aren't that.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
You see, so that's what I think. What Sean and Joel were saying, because it's a pity because you aren't that. But I think that's where the disconnect was. But anyways. Right on, Scott. Appreciate that.
Yeah,
because you can just drop it. You truly are not that. Scott, Arizona. Anything else you want to say?
Much love. Thanks for the time.
Appreciate it, sir. Call me again. Did he say wife first or life first? Anyways, folks, that's the show. What the? You guys want to really check out my interview with Tomer from yesterday? We had some great calls today. Got into it here. We're going to do it again tomorrow, Wednesday, American Anchorbaby at around 12. No, at 12. At 12. That is a subversive doublespeak. 12 o'clock, American Anchorbaby. We got it going on. Jesse Lee Peterson show. And, of course, the Hake Report. Folks, you're going to have to call me tomorrow. Thank you to all the callers. Thank you to all the super chatters here. I do have to thank, I believe it is Spoiler Alert. Says, have you heard of my cherry joke? It's pitiful. Wah, wah. Thank you, Spoiler Alert. Birdie Bound Brian with the super chat says, a snake is going to do what a snake is going to do. Just don't let one catch you out of the blue or that's on you. Bar Centennial Man. Thank you, Birdie Bound Brian. Appreciate that. It's N-word November at Bond. That's a super chat from Spoiler Alert. Thank you for that one earlier there. And we got Rumble Rants you can support on Rumble. Lily Poo with the Rumble Rant says, I voted Republican in Philadelphia today with many, many more who switched sides. Yeah, so the Skim reports it's election night tonight for some. And abortion is on the ballot. All sorts of things. Vote here. Vote aquí. It's election day, says the Skim. Here's what to look out for. Abortion, a ballot in Ohio. Governorships in Kentucky and Mississippi. Legislative races in Virginia, and in fact, even some stuff going on in California. Hey, anyone fatigued? Make it happen, folks. We still rolling with Trump. Anyways, look, that's the show. Spoiler alert with a couple more. Thank you. We got I Don't Pity You from Jessica, and I believe a link. You're Pitiful by Weird Al Yankovic. Little tune there. That's super chatted there from Spoiler Alert. Thank you for that one. And that's all for today, folks. Catch me tomorrow, like I said, more American Anchorbaby. That's it, y'all. See y'all tomorrow. Bye.